Hello, BookTube. I'm Peg, the Book Prize Addict, and I'm here today to talk about, for one thing, a prize I really love, especially this year, the Dagger Awards. There's 10 different ones for different crime novels, and I'm going to be going through some of them, and some of the categories I'm going to read. I hope I'll have somebody join me and read them and talk about them. It seems like with all that's going on, I have a hard time concentrating my reading on more serious things than I used to love crime novels, and it's back with a flourish. I could just sit and read those for hours. But anyway, before I tell you about that, I want to tell you my luck yesterday. Tuesday. Okay, first of all, I'm going to talk about Daisy Johnson's Everything Under. Some of you may have read that. It was on the short list for the 2018 Booker Prize. Daisy Johnson is the youngest person that's ever been on the short list, and it was a tremendous book. It was her debut, and just a little bit about it. I loved most about it the atmosphere and the tone of the book. It took place a young girl who lives on a houseboat on the canals around Oxford, and that's kind of the setting of it. And she has a great way of making kind of a surreal, uncanny tone to it, almost mythic. And I just loved it, the way she wrote. So I kind of kept her in mind. And on every Tuesday, when books are published in the U.S., my library, sometime during the day on Tuesday, puts out all their new ebooks that they're getting. And I spend Tuesdays, I keep looking at it because, of course, most of the good ones are gone immediately. I mean, you can get on the wait list, but it's fun to get them right away. And this Tuesday, I didn't even know it was out. This is by Daisy Johnson, her second novel. This isn't doing very well. Sisters. Great cover. And I grabbed it. I couldn't check it out fast enough. I read some of it, and it's just as good as the other was as far as the tone and the atmosphere goes. I just love it. It's about two sisters, very close in age, who live with their single mother in Oxford. And something strange happens. You don't know, but they move to an old house out in the country. Now, this is where she really shines. You know the feeling of an old house that hasn't been lived in for a long time, and you go through it. It's just something spooky or uncanny about it. And she sets it up beautifully when they get to that house. And then the story goes from there. But I just know I'm going to like it. And the only thing I can say is it's her tone and her atmosphere and her descriptions of the setting and people that just blow me away. So let me know if you've read this or heard anything about it or might want to read it. Okay, let's get on with the real things I came to talk about. The Dagger International Prize as short list will be, or the winners are going to be announced in October. It's by a big group, the Mystery Writers Association. They usually have a big banquet in London, October 22nd. I doubt they'll have it this year. It'll probably be on virtual. But anyway, as I said, I used to love mysteries, and in my old age and COVID age, I'm really digging them again. So I wanted to go through a few of them that I'm going to be reading. Out of the 10 categories, I'm going to try to read 6 each in 3 different categories. And I'd love to have people read along with me on any of them, or if you've read them, let me know what you think of them. I'll be talking about them for a while. Okay, I just wanted to go through a few of them with you, some of them I have from the library already, some are on wait lists, some I bought. And my most favorite department is the International Dagger. It's for translated crime novels, and I really am liking translated anyway lately, and these are just great. So let me show you a few of these. These I have to buy, or some of them are on Scrib. A lot of them haven't been published in the U.S. Yet, but they're not very expensive, really. Okay, here's one from France called Summer of Reckoning. It's evidently about two young girls again in a hell of a sticky hot summer in France. It says a violent crime born of poverty and racism will change lives forever. And it does also mention it was the winner of the French Grand Prix police literature book. So I'm anxious to start that one. Next we have November. It's in Spanish, and it has to do with El Salvador and the horrors of the Civil War there. So somehow it's made into a crime mystery. So that should be interesting also. And here's the best one. I can't wait to read this or get into it. What a cover, huh? It's called Like Flies from Afar. And this is not a sticker. It says a novel upside down and backwards. But it's like printed there. So this has got to be great. It's also in, it's from what country? Argentina. So Latin America, South America is really getting a lot now in the translated department, or maybe we're just noticing it more. So there's three others. You can take a look. I've put all my favorite divisions down below that you can look through them and see if you've read any. I'd love to hear about it. Okay, my next favorite is historical crime novels, and they have to be about something that happened at least 50 years ago. So I'm going to just go through those. The first one is Metropolis by Philip Kerr. I just want to say a little bit about it. He has written many, many books, maybe almost 20, about Bernie Gunther, a German man in Germany between the war, during the war. I've read quite a few of them, but I want to say you don't have to have read them to enjoy this one. This is one, actually, the last one he wrote before he suddenly died last year or whenever. And it actually goes back to when Bernie was first starting out. He lives in Nazi Germany, and he tries not to be the typical Nazi German. And they're all just really good. So this is the last one, but as I said, it could also be called the first one because it takes place quite early. Okay, the next one is The Bear Pit, and this is by a Scottish author, and she's written quite a few lately, and I had already been saving some that I'd gotten. She has two different series, but this series is called the Seeker series, and it's about a guy during Cromwell's England. That's in the 1600s, not the Cromwell that you guys are reading about in Hilary Mantel's book. But this is actually a long, very relative, a relative of his through his sister, I believe. But it takes place during the Restoration, and when they put Cromwell in as almost king. I didn't know too much about that part of history, so I kind of cheated and looked in Wikipedia. But I wanted this is the fourth of the series, and I felt a little nervous about starting it. So I did get the very first of the series, The Seeker, which won this very award, historical Dagger, in 2015, and he's had like 4 since then. So the fourth one probably has a pretty big chance, and I'm already getting to know all the characters in it, so I think I can skip from 1 to 4. Okay, that's a historical one. The other is just the plain Golden Dagger, which is supposedly the best crime novel of the year, and I have 4 of those already. November Road takes place, I'm surprised it's not in the historical part, because it takes place during the JFK assassination here in the States, and this has been out a long time in the U.S. and won different awards. I haven't read it yet. Have you? Okay, anyway, that's one. This one, Joe Country, is the latest by Mick Herron, and Mick Herron is a great author. You might call him the contemporary spy author. He has, I think, about 4 or 5 out now of it's a bunch of spies that have gotten in some sort of trouble, and they live in this building in London and do the work, and they're called the slow horses. They made some mistake or whatever, and they're just a great bunch. I love to read about them, and they get into mysteries themselves. Again, I don't think you have to have read all of them. I've read a couple, and I noticed I could get right in on this. So most good authors, when they write series, don't make it so you have to read all of them, of course. So I would say that you wouldn't have to on that. Two more that I don't know anything about. One is Forced Confession by John Fairfax. It's a lawyer novel about and it has two before it, which I may read first. It's William Benson. He's the lawyer, and he's a criminal barrister in a convicted murder. I'm not sure how all that happens, but he's the lawyer. So I do have the books two before this, so maybe I'll read those first, or we'll see. Okay, and the last one, I don't like the name very much, Good Girl, Bad Girl by Michael Robotham, whatever. He's very written a lot of mysteries. I've seen him, an English author. I don't think I've read any, but actually it looks better inside when it has the word girl in it. I'm not like wanting to read it real bad. I don't know, but this actually looks pretty good. And again, a police procedural, which I really like. My two favorite kinds of crime novels are police procedurals and what was the other? Oh, law cases are there. I really am not that crazy about domestic violent situations, but you know, he can, if they're good written, I always love them. So I invite you all to do a read along with me. You can look through there's 18 in all, 6 on each list, which I've put below, and or let me know if you've read any of these and like them or didn't like them or plan to read them. So anyway, let the fun begin. Bye.